What's up, my friends? It's time. It's Monday, it's modern time, and it's time to take a little time warp. It's often said that modern is a very cyclical format. That is, that it goes in cycles, and there's so many decks that new decks show up and some decks go away and then old decks are good again and things are constantly changing. And we got an oldie here. Now, if you've only been watching Modern for the last year or so, you're probably familiar with the burn deck. Pretty simple, very often like a first deck for people, pretty cheap, easy to build. Usually Boros colors only. Boros Charm, Lightning Helix, all the red cards. You may not have seen a lot of this card, but years ago, Nacatl burn was the burn deck of choice. And it's time to go back, because burn seems to be very well positioned right now. The format is getting faster and faster, and Arclight Phoenix decks are everywhere. There's a lot of decks that are not very good against Eidolon of the Great Revel in particular. Probably the best card in the burn deck, or one of the best cards in the burn deck. And aside from just being really, really good in the burn deck, it's essentially a Game 1 sideboard card against decks like Ironworks, Arclight Phoenix, many of the decks in the format that are looking to cast a lot of spells, and some of the non-interactive decks don't even have removal, like Ironworks only has explosives to kill it. So when one of your best cards ends up being like a Game 1 sideboard card against a lot of the format, that's really, really good. And we're going back to Nacatl for a few reasons. Now, when Fatal Push was printed, a lot of removal spells everywhere, Tarmogoyf was everywhere, a lot of big blockers. Nacatl wasn't as good. You don't want to be in a spot where you are on turn 5, your opponent's at 3 life, you're dead on board, and you got to do that burn spell peel, and you peel the top card, and it's a Wild Nacatl and you're dead. Where if it was any burn spell, you would have won the game. That's the downside. The upside is that Wild Nacatl is essentially just a Rift Bolt that goes off every single turn. The damage output from Wild Nacatl is insane, because we are obviously already playing the card Rift Bolt, and that card only does 3 damage once. A turn 1 Nacatl, turn 2 Goblin Guide, Lava Spike Hand kills very, very fast, and killing fast is very important right now because, frankly, Modern is just really, really fast. There are a lot of brutal linear decks that are tearing it up. Ironworks and Tron and Amulet is making a resurgence. And killing your opponent fast is very, very important. And while normal burn is more of a turn 4 deck, maybe a turn 5 deck, this deck can kill on turn 3 reasonably consistently. And that's because of a combination of Wild Nacatl and then also the other green card in the deck, Atarka's Command. This card's a little bit better than Skullcrack. We get a Skullcrack option of they can't gain life, and you deal 3. It's also nice, as a little side note, that this card says each opponent, not target opponent. So it's a nice way to get around Leyline of Sanctity. Not played that often, but nice little side note. And then it also has the ability to pump your entire team. And this is the card that leads to a lot of turn 3 kills. A simple hand of turn 1 Nacatl, turn 2, say, Goblin Guide Swiftspear, attack for 6. Turn 3, Lava Spike you, Atarka's Command. That's so much damage I can't even count it. We got at 6 in the first attack, and then we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 damage on turn 3. Because Atarka's Command, by itself, it's Skullcrack. With 1 creature in play, it's Boros Charm. With 2 creatures in play, it's a Lava Axe. With 3 creatures in play, it's 6 damage for 2 mana, which is obviously insane. So, Atarka's Command, very, very powerful magic card. But obviously you need to have some creatures in play for it to be better than Skullcrack. And you are taking a little more damage because of it. Mana base for this deck is a little more painful than most burn decks. We are playing Copperline Gorge. Just like the other burn decks get to play Inspiring Vantage. However, we are essentially a 3-color deck, not a 2-color deck, and most of our games are going to be turn 1, fetch Stomping Ground, turn 2, fetch Sacred Foundry for Wild Nacatl. So this deck is a little bit more vulnerable as far as damage it takes. Also no helixes to recoup the life loss. But as a converse to that, it's also much faster. Again, turn 3, anytime you draw 1 or 2 creatures and Atarka's command, you will Goldfish on turn 3, which is very, very important. Otherwise, most of the usual suspects are here. Goblin Guide, Swiftspear, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, all the available burn effects. We're only playing 3 copies of Searing Blaze, just as a hedge in case the non-creature decks show up, or the second Blaze can be awkward at times. 4 Boros Charm, of course, 4 Rift Bolt. Our 1 flex spot is a Shard Volley. Very often this is a Grim Lavamancer, and I'm actually a huge Lavamancer fan. I usually play 2 Lavamancers, maybe even 3 in my burn decks. However, the format is so fast right now, I think I'd rather just have the extra Lightning Bolt. So Shard Volley is in. Then our mana base, like I said, Copperline Gorges. Ideal draw is turn 1 Copperline Gorge Nacatl, turn 2 fetch Sacred Foundry, and go from there. We went fetch lands. Fetch lands are all red, of course. I would play Scalding Tarn if you have them. I know they're more expensive, but the games you don't have a 1-drop, if you go turn 1 Scalding Tarn, go, your opponents may sequence things differently than they would if they knew you were playing burn. So, just slight edge there. Sideboard is also one of the things about this deck that really makes me happy. So, we have a lot of our usual stuff. We have our Lobmancers and our extra Searing Blazes. A lot of burn decks play a few Path to Exiles for cards like Death Shadow, or for matchups like Infect. The problem with regular burn decks, though, is that cards like Rest in Peace and Stony Silence, which are, hammer down haymaker sideboard cards, aren't as good in burn, because when you're playing mostly burn spells, there's a lot of impetus on you to simply draw burn spells every turn. And you don't want to end up in a game state where you have them at 2 and you draw a Rest in Peace and a Rest in Peace and you die or something, or things like that. There's definitely a major danger of overboarding with your burn deck. However, Wild Nacatl mitigates that. Because we're playing 3 extra powerful creatures instead of 3 extra burn spells. If these Nacatls were Helixes, now we're more on the cast 7 spells plan. Cast 7 bolts and kill your opponent. With Nacatl as a recurring damage source, we can afford to have a lower density of cards that all deal damage, because we can rely on our creatures a little bit more. And typically in those matchups, your creatures aren't dying either. So, turn 1 Nacatl, turn 2 either Rest in Peace or Stony Silence is very, very good. So it allows us to play these Haymaker sideboard cards like Rest in Peace and Stony Silence that are very, very good right now against Ironworks. Rest in Peace you only really want against like Dredge and like really, really heavy graveyard decks. You don't want it against like the Arclight Phoenix decks or decks like that. But it's a Haymaker when you need it. So that's really good. We have a mix here on Revelry and Smash Smithereens. Not a ton of enchantments in the format right now. I'm honestly not exactly sure what's better, truth be told. Smash does more damage. There are a lot more artifacts floating around. But it is nice to have outs to things like Daybreak Coronet or Leona Sanctity, or whatever other random enchantments your opponents might have. So 1 Firecraft for the control matchups. It's also just an extra burn spell if your opponent's not playing creatures. You need to board your blazes out. And then again, our plan against our creature decks is Grim Lavamancer. Humans, Bant Spirits, Affinity. This is your plan. Bring in Lavamancer and just kill all their stuff because it's so good. So that's the deck. Nothing too crazy. We're going to play a league here, of course. I am recording this before SCG Columbus. As you are watching this, I will have already played in the tournament, and I'm about 80% to play this deck right now. Been playing it for the last few days. I think it's very, very well positioned right now. Again, there are Arclight Phoenix decks everywhere, and then a lot of really fast linear decks. Humans kind of fallen off a little bit. Decks like Hollow One, which are a bad matchup for us, have fallen off a bit. And frankly, it's just a lot of Serum Vision's opt decks that Eidolon of the Great Revel is really, really good against. And then I think this edition of Wild Nacatl, or re-edition of Wild Nacatl, gives the deck the speed it would need to get ahead of decks like Amulet and Tron and decks like that too. So hopefully this is a celebration video where Tannen, Grace, Ross, Merriam, and I, my team BCW brothers, have hoisted our trophy with me delivering the killing blow with a top deck Boros Charm. That'd be pretty cool. But I guess you gotta go find out, I am from the past and you are from the future. So we shall see. Alright, so basic tenets of burn. Opening hand selection is very important. Burn is not a deck that mulligans great, but again, The recurring damage source of Wild Nacatl makes it easier to mulligan because we are less focused on getting a critical mass of burn spells because we have recurring damage sources. And I think that one of the most important things about burn is people think of it as a lightning bolt deck. They think of it as a just draw 7 bolts and kill your opponent. Burn's a lot more than that, and Burn's best cards are the cards that can deal more than 3 damage. So Goblin Guide, Swiftspear, Eidolon, and then Wild Nacatl. So you really want to have one of those cards in your opening hand. For example, if this hand was, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Atarka's Command, Lava Spike, I would probably keep it, but I would not be very happy because that's 12 points of burn and 3 lands. It's not really a great place to be. So your recurring damage sources are very, very important. This hand's a little land heavy, but it's fine. We're on the play. We have a Swiftspear. Atarka's Command, very, very good with our creatures. Opponent mulligans to 6. Searing Blaze, obviously good against the creature decks too. So, we can lay out Stomping Ground here. It's also nice to preserve the fetch lands for Searing Blazes on our opponent's turn. Swamp. Okay, Swamp discard spell. Not great. Given the texture of our hand being a little land heavy, we're not very happy with that. But also they now know about Searing Blaze, which is also super awkward. We drew the same card they discarded. That's how it goes for me when I play discard spells. All right, they took it. I think they were right to take it, and I think we were going to just fire in here. Atarka's Command is essentially 5 damage with the Swiftspear, so we're pretty happy to take that and run with it. You see my opponent is playing some sort of Jundi, Abzani something deck. So this deals essentially 5, which is pretty good. Obviously, Boros Charm is great. A lot of times, Atarka's Command is better. I guess it's just 4, because Boros Charm would have done 5 too, but... Nice. Take the bolt. Nice. So they got 2 points off the bolt there, because no prowess, and obviously the 3rd damage from the bolt by thought seizing it, but not the best thing for them. Godless Shrine. It's interesting. Okay. Nacatl. Okay. So opponent's got 4 cards in hand. We're not in amazing shape. They've had a pretty okay start. The Searing Blaze is looking mediocre at the moment. We'll see if they're playing creatures or not. Not really sure what they're playing, honestly. It's your standard modern game, Could be like 8 Rack Splashing White. It could be like a token deck. Lingering Souls. Wowzer. So we could end step Searing Blaze. I kind of want the Prowess trigger, though. I'm going to untap. Okay. Interesting. We're just going to play the Mountain in Searing Blaze. We're going to hold the fetch land in play. It's important to hold your fetch lands for future Searing Blazes. So this is a pretty good swing. They're going to go to 4. And we have 2 creatures in play. And we're at 15 under absolutely 0 pressure. Yeah, it's some sort of black-white tokens deck. Day of Judgment. Always a wild ride when you're playing Modern, Boros Charm. Hopefully they're not playing like Sorin, whatever the one that gives your whole team lifelink is. Shambling Vents is annoying. That's definitely annoying. Thankfully it'll put them to 3, which is still in bolt range, so we've got a few turns here to draw a little bolty bolt. Or Scalding Tarn, as usual. Alright. This is going to be a sad game to lose if we lose it. Yeah, Shambling Vent is annoying. Alright. If we don't kill him this turn, this game's gonna get pretty difficult to win. Yeah, if you gotta feel it on. You gotta you snap your finger. Thanos. Just like that. That's all you gotta do. You gotta believe in the heart of the cards. All right? That's your burn lesson for the day. Believe in the heart of the cards. So, despite drawing 5 lands, worked out pretty good. Opponent is playing black-white tokens. That one's probably not on your sideboard guide. So, like I was saying, we're going to want to really, really avoid bringing in cards like these in any matchup like this. Like, you might say, rest in peace, they have Lingering Souls and stuff. Nah. We're going to want our Lavamancers for sure, because these are very good in longer, grindier games. Aside from that, Searing Blaze, I mean, it's okay against Lingering Souls. It's not amazing. I don't know if they're going to have something like Leyline Sanctity, which would be really annoying. We can't really play around that too hard. As far as what we're going to cut here, most of our cards are good, honestly. Like, Shard Volley is the weakest card in the deck. I don't mind just cutting that. And then as far as what cards you cut, typically, you end up cutting your Searing Blazes if they have no creatures, obviously. If they have a lot of creatures, you think that your creatures won't be able to get through, you can shave maybe Nacatl or something, but that's pretty rare. And then your creature matchups are usually boarding out Boros Charm or Atarka's Command based on if you need to be defensive, if they're going to have a lot of blockers or not. If they have a lot of blockers, then Atarka's Command is not great, and vice versa. And you want to kind of just use Lavamancer and kind of be board control-y against them. So they kind of just have tokens. We don't really know what else. Riftbolt's also a card I like to cut if I'm looking for just the weakest card in the deck, because it is the slowest card. It's really a question how many Searing Blazes though I want to leave in. They're playing Lingering Souls and tokens. Searing Blaze is actually pretty good. I might even want to bring in the third Searing. Maybe we'll just leave it like that. I think we're just gonna do this. I'm pretty happy with this. One nice thing about Wild Nacatl also is that it's not that vulnerable to the card Collective Brutality. They can only kill it with Brutality if they're on the play. And we cast Nacatl turn 1. Nacatl ends up being pretty good against a lot of the hate cards that come in against you. Cards like Dragon's Claw, Core Firewalker. It's pretty nice. Put them all against the 6, and our hand is pretty bad. Now, like I was saying, a hand like this, if this was Lava Spike, Boros Charm, you could never keep it. Because there's not enough critical mass. And it shows the importance of these recurring damage sources. We do have 2 good ones, as well as our best burn spell. And our opponent did mulligan. But 4 lands is just an obscene amount of lands. It's really hard to keep almost any 4-lander. 5 lands or more, you never keep. If I'm going to keep a 4-lander, it usually needs to be like Goblin Guide, Eidolon, Boros Charm, like my best possible 1s and 2s, or Nacatl, Eidolon. Eidolon's the card, and Eidolon, Goblin Guide, Nacatl are all the cards that can really do a lot of damage, and they're worth having. I think his hand's a little too weak, though. I'm going to mulligan. We have Swiftspear, no spells, Lavamancer that might die, and 1 Boros Charm. So I'm going to mulligan here. Alright, this hand is significantly worse. We have downgraded a spell by just losing it, and then we turned our recurring damage sources into lava spikes. While I am regretful we don't have our last hand, I think this hand also has to go, because this hand really doesn't go anywhere. These extra lands are redundant, and we're putting our opponent to 14, and that's it. I need a Goblin Guide, I need a creature, I need something. So we're going to mulligan. Kind of sucks, but alright, this is at least better. It is not great, but we have no planes for Nacatl, Rift Bolts, but at least we have something. We're probably going to lose, honestly, because they probably have removal spells and stuff, and no fetch lands and no planes is tough. Lavamancer is pretty good, though. All right, I'm going to keep it on top. I can't bottom that and draw a land or a lava spike. Planes go. It's kind of weird. Just basic. All right. I mean, It sucks to draw land, but we did draw a fetch land that's food for our Lavamancer as well as turning on our Nacatl, so we can't complain too much. Our hand is definitely, like, 4 lands is on a mulligan to 5 is pretty rough. Oh, there goes that. Did not really need another land, but thankfully they used Path, though. They didn't use Brutality, they didn't use Push, so that means that they don't have those access to those cards. So it could be worse. Upstairs. They've also drawn basic thing. No fetch lands, no dual lands. Just kind of stinky. And we've drawn another land. Wow. Alright. I mean, we're going to play this. It is food for our Lavamancer. This is an interesting spot because we can, if we shoot them end step, if we just attack them next turn, yeah, it's fine. You need to recognize how much food you have. So occasionally you want to attack with Lavamancer if you can't always keep using it, but they're going to give us food for the Lavamancer. Okay. That's fine by me. It's a wasteland because we have no cards to search for, but we're not exactly starved for lands here, so not too big of a deal. And they got a second plains. That is definitely peculiar. All right. As far as fetching here, we're going to hold on to this. If we fetch, they can possibly Ghost Quarter us or whatever, Field of Ruin us off a color, so we're just going to wait. Oh my god. Well, this is a good lesson in what not to do when you're playing Burn. Don't mulligan to 5 and draw 5 lands. Thankfully, our opponent is obliging by not doing anything, so we can't complain too much. Gideon of the Trials. I mean, essentially gain 3 life. We just kill the Gideon. It's not that bad. So they may have more Gideons in their hand. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, this game has been not too great for us. Sure. So we're going to give them the old can't gain life, take 3. This is a pathetic game of Magic right now. I feel embarrassed for both of us. That's a good draw. Definitely a good draw. I need to attack here because don't got no food. They have a lot of cards now. If they go like Land Wrath here, it could be bad. Yeah, all right. I guess that's. I mean, they play Data. They have multiple Wraths in their deck. All right. I mean, Wrath is not very good against our deck typically, but obviously it's better against Nacatls. I mean, I don't think holding Eidolon there was a reasonable course of action, so that is unfortunate. But Path to Exile. All right. This game's slipping away. Every Gideon they play is basically +4 life. All right. I guess we'll keep playing and we'll see what else is in their deck. One of the things about Modern is, people play weird decks. It's a good idea to try and gather as much information as you can. Looks to be like a tribal Gideon token-y deck. Multiple Wrath of Gods. Remember, they played a Day of Judgment in game 1. So they have multiple Wraths. They've pathed their own spirit. Looking for a second black mana. Okay. Just sort of planeswalker-y deck. I think decks like this in Modern right now are pretty bad. You don't want to be playing the card Gideon Jura against your Ironworks opponents. Or your Tron opponents. Or your Amulet opponents. Or many of your other opponents. But, alright, we're just going to back it up. It's very, so they're just playing some sort of like Gideon tribal deck. Okay. Does it change our sideboarding in any way? Makes our Searing Blazes worse. If they're like literally only on Lingering Souls tokens and Gideon tokens. I'm just going to swap in like that. Like, if we have two creatures in play, and they play Lingering Souls, the ability to Searing Blaze one of them and allow one of our creatures to hit is pretty huge. So, I'm not necessarily unhappy to draw one, but I definitely want to draw two. Okay, so this hand is not perfect, but very, very good. We have one good recurring damage source. We got 4 bolts. 2 Boros Charms, actually. So, it's also possible they have some sort of like timely reinforcements or other life gainy garbage, so Atarka's can handle that pretty well too. We fetch Sacred Foundry first because we have 4 Copperline Gorge in our deck, so if we draw one of those, we'll be pretty happy. Field of Ruin. Godless Shrine, no damage. Works for me. So now we need to decide if we want to spend Rift Bolts or just get in for our Atarka's command. Alright, so Nacatl makes that decision for us because we want to use the Atarka's command next turn for the Nacatl. So this all works out pretty well. I guess we will attack first just to see what they have on top of their deck in case there's some sort of weird card that changes our play. It is a Gideon, which is annoying, but fine. So, pretty good start for us. If they have a card like Collective Brutality, we're probably in trouble. Which they definitely do, because they're casting it, choosing all the modes right now. That's bad. Alright, I mean, this is definitely one of the best cards in the format against us. Not currently very played, thankfully, but... discarding a Night's Whisper. And we're going to lose to a deck playing Night's Whisper while playing Burn. We suck. Alright, so they get a Atarka's command. That's bad. That is very bad. Collective Brutality, one of the best cards in the entire format against Burn. Not really many decks that can actually play it right now. It's just not a very played card. That's also pretty bad. Alright, we cannot afford to try and hold up Skullcrack. So we're going to just battle. Problem is that Gideon emblem is pretty good. Vault of the Archangel. And they have Timely too. Alright, well, when I say Burn is very well positioned, you're just going to have to trust me. And realize that neither of these cards is seeing much play in Modern right now. Unless your name is Zernak playing on Magic Online this fine Thursday evening. Obviously, we can now never win the game. If they had just played Gideon that turn, it still would have been rough for us. And that 4 damage from Atarka's command was still pretty important. Even if we held up the Skullcrack mode, I'm not sure if we can beat the soldiers into the Gideon. They have a vault too, so we're basically just dead, realistically. Let's draw a Goblin Chain Whirler. That'd be cool. You can basically just cast Gideon and then give it lifelink next turn. We can never win. Yeah, that works too. I mean, that kills Gideon, but killing Gideon is not really super high up on our list of things to do. The problem, I mean, it kind of is, because they just play another Gideon in the emblem. Again, this is what Lavamancer is here for. You know, now we're in this grindy game, and Lavamancer's got a bunch of fuel. And, you know, Lavamancer definitely gives us a chance to win this game. Kind of at a board stall. I'm not sure why they're not casting Gideon, honestly. Alright, they're 9. Definitely a spot where we can see where Nacatl doesn't look very good. You know, but most decks aren't like this. Like our Nacatl kind of just sitting here. We'd almost rather it be a Lightning Bolt. Although it did get in for its required Rift Bolt damage, so. Alright, I mean, we're doing stuff. I mean, they just play Gideon and things get ugly, but any land for Vault of the Archangel is bad. Gideon Emblem is bad. This is the emblem here. We just kill the Gideon. But yeah, it's not like the end of the world. If they have more Gideons, that's a problem. So I guess we're still in this game somehow, which seems preposterous. Yeah, I don't see a tangible. I mean, if we shoot them, nah, because they can just use Gideon next turn to plus. We can't let them do that. They plus on Lavamancer, it becomes very, very hard to win. Right. I'm almost happy this is happening, because this sort of shows why Nacatl stopped being in the decks. Because of scenarios like this. But this scenario is not the common scenario in Modern right now, and it's giving a good lesson on both sides. So I accept this lesson we're being taught right now. Little history lesson, you know? I could attack. Just attack. I would happily trade this for 2 creatures, given that they have Vault of the Archangel in play. Or just playing another one, so. Cool. It makes less sense, but okay. I mean, if I have a bolt here, I kill the knight, and my Nacatl lives, and their soldiers. Oh crap! I didn't order it right. I guess they're smarter than I am. Is that better? Because it's one less creature to pump. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, I drew a land, so. Oh, it's not a pump. It's just lifelink. Okay. Death touch also. I mean, if they go for the pump here, that's fine. We should attack back with Nacatl. So they gain 3. They attack this, and Nacatl just does the damage right back. They're not doing it. What do they have? What's going on? They have a Wrath? They just drew a land. All right. I think we're live to a Boros Charm here, folks. Now we're live to a lot of stuff. What is this? What does this mean? Are they going to field everyone else? So you're saying there's a chance they're now dead to any bolt in our deck. I cannot believe we might win this game. I actually am dumbfounded that our opponent has left us with a chance to win the game. Our opponent has not played very well this game. All right, give him the old... God damn it. Does shrink our Nacatl. All right. I guess we attack. I mean, we're not going to block with it, and it's just less life they gain. Sure. Lavamancer is doing some work, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. I mean, if they want to activate this thing, I'm just going to kill their 2/2. They will gain 3 life, but then we can crack back and possibly kill them. We'll be in the same spot as last turn, honestly. Okay. Sure. Don't play Gideon. Ugh, crap. All right, that's bad. So making it so the Nacatl deals no damage. So now we need to kill the Gideon and them. I don't think that's possible. I believe we are finally dead through the Brutality and the Timely and the Gideon emblems and the Vault of the Archangel. Yeah, we can't kill a Gideon and them. Nothing deals 5 damage. The Skullcroak has the damage prevention clause. So that would be an out if we had that, but alright, I mean we'll just draw a card, I guess. I'm pretty sure we can't win. Might overtap. Whatever. Alright. They got us. They got us, folks. Alright. Pretty happy that we were drawing live for like 2 turns there in a game that we should have had no business being in. The turn 2 Brutality, turn 3 Timely, turn 4 Gideon Emblem game. Alright. That's fun. So, of course, one of the things about Modern, one of the common complaints from tournament players for Modern is that that happens. You know, you have, I think this deck is a deck that's very, very good in the metagame right now. I think Burn is very well positioned. A lot of my colleagues agree. A lot of the writers in Star City Games were saying that. Yeah, it's just, but sometimes you bring your perfectly metagame deck and you play against the one person in the room playing black-white tokens. So that's Modern. That's why we love it and we hate it. All right, this hand is also excellent. We got 4 lightning bolts and then a recurring lightning bolt every turn. We can keep. Stomping Ground. They gonna bolt it? One of the cool things too is that these cards are not super common. Atarka's Command has not been a part of the format for a long time. So you get spots like this where you go to fetch, get your land, and you attack, and they try and bolt it. If you have Atarka's Command, you blow them out of the water. And it's awesome. We obviously don't have it here, but there's some value for sure in playing cards that are not commonly played. Come on, Magic Golem, you can do it. I believe in you. I know Arena's breathing down your neck, but ooh, wow, this is great. All right, so now we're just in in heaven over here. Five bolts and a Nacatl. 2 lands. They're effectively at 10. They're effectively dead. Hallowed Fountain, sure. Just don't go Mountain Lightning Helix. That's an island. As a search for Azcantha. LOL, you're dead. Not yet. We are 1 short currently. You'll see what we can do about that last point of damage if possible. Alright, well, it's all going where it's supposed to go. And that is upstairs. Our instant speed spells are going to be very important in a matchup like this to play around counter spells. Timing is extremely important in a matchup like this. People say that Burn's like very easy to play. Duh, you just play your Lava Spikes. But timing with Burn is very, very important in matchups like this. If your opponent just says go a bunch of mana open, when you time your spells, when you choose to play them, very, very important. So they're effectively at dead here. This fetch land is essentially doing nothing. They're at 1. They have stopped the Nacatl. We have double bolt. I'll put us at 99.999% to win this game. And our opponent agrees. So, there you go. Double suspend Rift Bolt. Wild Nacatl. It's about to be 9 damage. So, opponent's playing either Blue White or Jeskai. We're not sure because we killed him so fast. Or our Searing Blaze is out. If we knew they were playing Jeskai, that makes them more reliant on Snapcaster Mage, and therefore I don't mind leaving in a few blazes. They could just be Blue White though. And Blue White typically plays between 2 and 0 Snapcasters. We're going to want all of our Lavamancers because they're fantastic. We're also going to want this Firecraft. And then I think it's a safe spot to remove the Shard Volley as well. Not a card you want to get countered. And again, it's the weakest card in the deck. It is just your 9th Lightning Bolt. 13th Lightning Bolt? Whatever. So pretty easy sideboarding here. Lavamancer is fantastic in matchups like this. As we saw last game, Lavamancer almost won us that game. It was almost unwinnable. I think Lavamancer dealt like 10 damage over the course of that game. So recurring damage sources are great. Everything else looks great. No interest in Revelry or Smash or anything like that. I'd have to see Leyline of Sanctity before I consider something like that. Not a commonly played card. Another good one. 2 lands, 2 recurring damage sources, and 3 bolts. Perfect. What land to lead on doesn't matter a ton. I'm fine with Stomping Ground. We'll have plenty of stuff in the graveyard for Lavamancer. Gives us a little more flexibility if they like Ghost Quarter us and stuff as far as what we're going to fetch. Like if we draw a Copperline Gorge next turn, we'll know to fetch 2 white sources and so on and so forth. They drew a land. So lucky. All right, no more lands. That plays. All right, we're firing in with the good stuff. We're going to use light Lava Spike here and try to ensure our prowess trigger. It's very unlikely they have 2 removal spells, so they may kill one of these creatures, but probably can't kill both. So I want to make sure we get the damage in now. It's important to recognize if it's going to be a racy matchup or a matchup where it's going to go on for a little bit and play your spells accordingly. Rift Bolt is slow, but we're in no... I have Helix, it's bad. We're in no major rush. Alright, so Helix is obviously another card not super popular at the moment, but it's a tough one. I just hope they don't have another Helix. That would be a problem. They did let us untap, so they didn't play around Skullcracker or Atarka's Command, so I would assume no second Helix. If a Snapcaster, though, things get a little ugly, but we'll fire in and see what happens. And drew another land. I've drawn 3 lands in a row. Lucky. Alright. Damage gets through. Jeskai does not usually play Wrath of God effects and would not want them in this matchup, even if they have them. So I'm not too worried about walking into a Wrath here. Snap Helix is pretty likely, unfortunately. You know what? Given that Snap Helix is kind of likely, maybe we should have not played the Lavamancer. Because this board state's awful for us. They just Helix the Lavamancer, and then our Goblin Guide attacks into our Snapcaster, which feels awful. That might have been wrong. Might have been a mistake. I talked about it, but it didn't actually like make it influence my play. Like, this is very, very bad for us. We also have no Blazes in our deck either. Yeah. So Snapcaster is just a rude boy. Now you decide if you want to Rift Bolt the Snapcaster or them, because we want this Goblin Guide to keep going. This is bad for us. Alright, you don't usually do this, but in a spot like this, Goblin Guide's worth 2 anyway, so you might as well just kill it. We lose 1 point of damage to keep our Goblin Guide alive. That's a pretty good draw. Top card's Opt. Alright. I mean, this is not a enviable spot. They have 7 cards in hand. A lot of them are lands, though, which is good. I played that and that. So we will see what happens here. Firecraft is good. We drew a 1-up Firecraft, which is pretty lucky. Plains? Alright. God. Alright. Our opponent has cast 3 Lightning Helixes this game. Yeah, that's really bad. Okay. What can we do? Just gotta keep battling. They opt bottom, so good. Now, of course, the next Snapcaster Mage is devastating. They're fate sealing themselves. Sure. They top. 16 is so much life. I think we're in pretty big trouble here. They just have 6 cards in hand, and they top their card. There's no reason to bolt yet. Alright, that plays. I mean, I'd be amazed if it didn't have path or something, but we're going to go for it. We're going to attack them. Jace is irrelevant. We need to win this game now. Maybe their hand is all lands. Nope, they're pausing. Dispel. Annoying, to be sure. Very good card against burn. Very, very good card. If only I had known this was the Gideon format, you know? Cast Gideon, play land, then brainstorm. Good, 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 good. That's not bad. And we do have this ace in the hole. Despite all the terrible things that have happened to us this game, they've gained 9 life off lightning helixes. We're like still sort of in this game. Spell Snare is also really good against Burn. Almost all of Burn's best spells cost 2. Just a reminder for everyone out there who's watching. If you have a Jason play and you're thinking about drawing cards, just do that first, please. Then decide what you want to do with your mana for the rest of the turn. It's free. You're probably going to do it anyway. Like, just draw the cards first. Maybe you change your mind. You know, maybe you draw. Maybe they would have drawn Lyra and played Lyra over Gideon last turn. You know, and had 0 chance to lose. Like, you know, just a really simple thing. All right, so they got snaps. I want some blazes. Nacatl is also going to be not as good in this matchup because they have helixes and stuff, but it's okay. We'll work through it. Let's attack through a snap, I suppose. I think I'm fine. Like 2 Searing Blaze over 2 Rift Bolts. Again, Rift Bolts is the worst card in the deck. Yeah, I'm cool with this. We're on the play now. Jeskai is not a great matchup. I would say it's like 60-40 in their favor, having played the Jeskai side a lot. Also depending on like how much stuff they have. Like Dispel is great, Spell Snare is great, Helix is great. You know, what kind of numbers do they have on those cards? Okay. This hand is fine. No aggressive 1-drop, kind of stinks, but Eidolon is great. So we get to keep 3 lands is not ideal, but it's fine. Turn 2 Eidolon on the play, obviously very good. Unfortunately, without an aggressive 1-drop, if they have a bolt here, they might not use it on the Lavamancer. They get to kill the Eidolon. Whereas if this was a Goblin Guide or a Nacatl, they might have just killed it, and then our Eidolon has a better chance of living. But that is them's the breaks at the moment. This will be good for at least some damage. If they want to Spell Snare it, they got to fetch. If they want to bolt it, they got to take some damage. So tap Talent Fountain, please. All right, we got a shock out of it at least. That is all right, sure. That's something. Demystify. We have been demystified. Boros Charm's pretty good. Definitely a good chance we could sneak that one in somewhere. Get these spikes in now. Boros Charm is much more nimble. I'd rather you be able to use this at some point later on when they tap out for something. We're not in bad shape here. Again, Lavamancer's going to do some work. Sure. Odds we get timely reinforcements next turn. That'd be great. I'm playing Burn all day, crushing everyone. I 5-0 on stream yesterday. Go to record my video, and I play against timely reinforcements every round for 5 rounds in a row. This looks good for us. I think they're probably dead. I could get a Dispel. They're probably going to kill this, and then we'll Spell Snare. Spell Snare works too, actually. So they bolt this. Path? Sure. That's pretty good. So this is an interesting spot because the two cards they can have here are Spell Snare and Dispel. And it looks like they've kind of set up this turn, like it's been leading up to something. So it leads me to believe they have one of the two. Given that, we need to decide when is the best time to time our spells, like I was saying earlier. Obviously, you can't Spell Snare a Lightning Bolt. We could cast Lightning Bolt first and try and draw out the Dispel if they have it, because they would be scared if we have a Lava Spike or some other non-instant that would kill them. Waiting is not great because they can draw helixes and things like that. It is possible we just like win the game here if they don't have any of them. I think they're at 6, so Boros Charm almost doesn't matter that much, that it's 4 damage. It's not that different than a Lightning Bolt. We also have the ability to only cast one Boros Charm at a time. Very interesting. As time goes on, the more mana they have access to, things get harder. If they draw a Helix, things get harder. So we are a little inclined to want to act. It is very possible they just have neither. We just killed them this turn. But I have a pretty strong suspicion they have at least one of those cards. I think I like just casting Lightning Bolts. That's what my instinct is telling me to do. Start a Lightning Bolt and see what they do. If they have Spell Snare, they'll do nothing. And if they have Dispel, they just think long and hard about it. If they Dispel it, we can charm them. If they don't, we just say go. Okay. That happened pretty quick. Now I'm willing to just say go. Because now we have lethal damage in our hand at any point. We can untap the lethal. We can draw lethal. Cycle Illumination. Sure. Don't want to draw 2? Interesting. They're saying go. 6 cards in hand and 2 mana up. Could be a Helix. Could still be that Spell Snare. I'm going to wait. Let's see what we draw. Goblin Guide's good. Looking for cards that force the issue now. Because now we have lethal. We have a you win the game 2 mana spell in our hand. So we can just do other things and make them deal with it. You know, they can't leave Goblin Guide to play forever. So if they have a Bolt or Path, they can kill it and still have Spell Snare up. Okay, that's fine. Susho Kalanon. They land. It's annoying. So now again, similar spot to the last turn. Now they have a land drop. It's a little bit different, but I think I'm still willing to just say go. They played Field of Ruin instead of the Colonnade. So they want 4 mana for some reason. That could be Snapcaster Bolt plus Spell Snare. Snapcaster Op plus Spell Snare. It could also be Snapcaster Spell Snare if we play things sloppily. So I think once again, I'm just going to say go. Because if they now we think they have Snapcaster Mage. So if we Boros Charm and they counter it, now they have Snapcaster for Boros Charm again. So we're just going to untap and draw. Again, we're under no pressure here, and every card we draw changes things drastically. That was a very good draw. So now you can cast Eidolon. They have Spell Snare. They probably need to counter it right now. And then we're probably going to go for a Boros Charm with the Spell Snare on the stack, so they can't Snapcaster Mage it. All right, a Desperation Field of Ruin. So float away. So might have been trying to get us to cast the Boros Charm in response to the Eidolon. We are not going to do that. Eidolon's going to resolve. No. Wow, I have Spell Snare. At this point, we have no white, so we're just going to fire away here and hope we kill them. They have another spell snare or a dispel. I mean... OU. They tapped the blue and they conceded. I thought they had it. I thought we were going to be in trouble. All right, cool. So patience paid off. Yeah, cool. One bad matchup. That feels great. 2 bad matchups in a row, which means we're due to play a good one. Right? That's how it works. The Burn versus Jeskai matchup is very, very interesting from both sides. Very, very play skill dependent, very, very patient. Honestly, the Burn deck often kind of boards almost like a reactive deck because it's sort of like it's playing its Skullcracks as kind of counter spells for the Helixes. There's a lot of waiting and baiting. It's a very, very interesting matchup. All right, so here we go. This is kind of the hand I was talking about. So we are never happy with a 4-land hand. However, we have turn 1 Goblin Guide, which is usually good for at least 4 damage, if not more. These are, if this was a Lava Spike, I would mulligan this hand every time ever. Goblin Guide makes it a little more appealing. It is still bad. You know, if this was an Atarka's Command and a Boros Charm, or a Boros Charm and a Searing Blaze, now we're talking a little more. These are, you know, 2 of the base level Lava Spike cards. You know, so they kill our Goblin Guide, we have 8 points of damage in our hand, which is not very good. 4 lands is bad. This hand is really, really... On the draw, I would never keep this, but Goblin Guide in the play is so good. This is a really tough one. I mean, it comes down to basically if we draw any land, we probably just can't win. I think I'm going to mulligan. If we had an Eidolon, if we had Boros Charms or Atarka's Commands, or even Searing Blaze, these cards are just better. I don't think 1 recurring damage source plus 2 Lava Spikes is enough to keep a hand. I would keep this 6 if it was -1 land, but that's also with a Scry too. Yeah, we have so many 6-card hands that are much better than this. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, there you go. Hand is significantly better. Opponent keeps 7. Top card, Lava Spike. Doesn't matter. We're fetching. So again, we're gonna get the Sacred Foundry because we have 4 Copperline Gorge we're drawing to. Probably. We'll see if our opponent has Simian Spirit Guide, Manamorphose, Trickbind. Oh, they didn't. That's good for us. That'd be a fun deck to build. Just troll some people. Just play like 4 Gemstone Cavern, 4 Simian Spirit Guide, 4 Manamorphose, and Trickbinds. Just like counter their fetch land activation on the draw. Goals, you know, you gotta have them. All right. Ideally, they'll play a creature here. Noble Hierarch, Mausoleum Wanderer. I guess Wanderer is bad because they can counter the Searing Blaze with the Wanderer or not take 3. It's an interesting interaction. Blued Crypt. Hopefully not Hollow One. Just bolt the thing. Alright. I mean, it did its required 3 damage. Got him for 1. Made them shock. Our hand is not good now. Again, we have no recurring damage sources, so we're probably in trouble here, but Thoughtseize. Alright. Could be Death Shadow, I suppose. That's a really interesting matchup. I would say no matchup in Modern is so dependent on each player's skill. I think the matchup can swing wildly in either player's favor, depending on how good they are. I've heard both sides, Burn players say, oh, Death Shadow is the best matchup ever. I've heard Shadow players say, Burn's really, really easy. It is so dependent on each player's skill. It is unbelievable. Looks like he's playing Shadow, so. Alright. This is not going to work the way we want it to work. If we Searing Blaze this, it's going to live. So we probably just bolt it, however awkward that is. And here you see the tension. You know, like there are 12. I can't really bolt them because it just gets bigger. So like this is like where the game gets really, really interesting as far as how you want to play it. I have not played this matchup before from the burn side, from either side. So might have played it from Shadow side once, but not from the burn side. So it's funny. I was just thinking to myself that I'm gonna want to talk to Dylan Donegan or someone before the open about this matchup if I'm playing burn because I want to know what to do. I think we are going to just lightning bolt the Shadow. If I draw a creature of some kind, I want to play it. And bolt my interface. I guess it doesn't really interfere with that. It would cause me to crack my fetch. I don't want to do for my Searing Blaze. Yeah, I'm just gonna bolt this. This is really weird, but it's gonna be funny when they have 2 Street Wraiths, but did not get lucky, I guess. That's good. That worked out for us. So it's sort of like I bolted them. Cool. Just what we were looking for. And we're going to play this tapped. The fetch land's already in play, so. Alright, we attack. You know, the chip shot style damage is very scary against them. Makes their future shadows bigger. They were willing to just throw a shadow away, too, so. That's scary as far as their prospects having more shadows and stuff like that. They looked at my top card. Yeah, this definitely feels like a second shadow. Is it a fish? That's the thing is, like, obviously this is a deck that does a lot of damage to itself, but at the same time, their threats are just so good against us. This is a matchup where Nacatl does not seem great. This deck has grown in popularity too, so I think we just bolt them. Stubborn Denial is down. I think that we just maybe pick our spot here and just take it. We're not bolting anything else, so there's really no point in waiting. This also makes it so the Goblin to the Angler has trouble attacking unless they have a second creature. Makes their lands difficult to play. Oh my god. Alright, I think if they have Stubborn Denial, we cannot win. Let's draw running burn spells. Speak of a devil. Alright. Yeah, Battle Rage were dead, obviously. We have 2 cards left. Alright, so it's Snapcaster Mage, and we're also dead, but it's fetch land. I mean, if it was Snapcaster Mage, alright, it's not Snapcaster Mage. Alright, I mean, if it's Stubborn Denial, we can't win. Oh, they said Battle Rage. Alright, whatever. I mean, That's definitely one of the best ways to kill you. So how do we approach this matchup? I wish I had played this matchup before. All right. This is the kind of matchup where I don't think we want Rest in Peace. It's good against some of their cards, but not all of them. It's not good against their best card. I am definitely interested in Path to Exile and Lavamancer and Firecraft. I am not interested in Searing Blaze at all. And Shard Volley can go. And then things get really interesting. We're on the play. I think on the draw I might cut like... I might cut 2 Nacatls. This is definitely... Grixis Shadow is gaining in popularity. This is definitely one of the matches where Nacatl's not as good. I definitely want the Lobmancers. Maybe I should cut 2. I'm just going to cut 2 Nacatls. We don't need that many creatures. Because they do so much damage to themselves, we can just kind of get them on spells. And Lobmancer does a much better job of controlling when we deal damage to them. Firecraft is obviously great. And then Path is a necessity. Yeah, I'm cool with this. Could maybe make an argument for Rest in Peace over the other 2 Nacatls. But I really don't think you want it. It's only good against Angler and Snapcaster Mage. Despite the fact that Angler is very good against us, we can't afford to have a 2-mana do nothing. Mulligans obviously don't help against the Thoughtseize deck. Oh, this hand's bad. Alright, keep. Oh my god. Alright. Scalding Tarn. Goblin Guy had not been too friendly today. It's been friendly to our opponents, but not us. I mean, one Inquisition of Kozilek really hurts our hand. Basic Swamp, Fatal Push. So here I think we just go land go. I don't think we want to deal damage to them. I want to make them deal the damage to themselves. Ugh. I guess now we're just going to do it. Just like... Make it a 4. Yeah, we're just going to do it now. I'm honestly not sure what to do. Like, I think we just Boros Charm them here. I honestly don't know. They have a shadow, it's really bad for us, but I mean, if they just waiting and letting them like discard the cards from our hand, stubborn denial stuff just seems bad. I'm just not sure. Oh my god. Alright, well, we're dead. Nice knowing y'all. Might as well target a shadow. Let's see, they're gonna fetch Kraken or fetch Duel in response probably. Yeah. Now we draw like Searing Blaze, so then we can finish it off. Yeah, I mean, all right. Yeah, I mean that's a matchup that I don't know anything about. It's full disclosure. I'm not gonna lie to you. Say I know what I'm doing there. I mean, we drew pretty badly, and they drew 2 shadows, so we probably couldn't win anyway. But I have no idea what to do in this matchup as far as how it should be played. Looks really bad from our side there, like, so which means you're probably playing it wrong because it is one of the most skill-intensive matchups in the format. So, not that we didn't have many options. I mean, we could have like waited with our stuff that game, maybe. I don't know. Because the goal is like, they just can't play Shadow if you don't damage them. They have to take their own damage. You still have your burn spells, but if you wait too long, they can draw discard spells and counter spells, just counter them. And without some sort of creature pressure. But the creature pressure also just brings them down to Shadow range. It's just so confusing. I think Shadow is like one of the hardest decks in the format to both play and play against. It is so difficult. Whenever I play it, I just get anxiety. Like, and it's weird because like I typically like, you know, Snapcaster Mage style decks, but leveraging your life total is just so unbelievably difficult. It's a good hand. Goblin Guide. Supreme Phantom. Nice Searing Blaze. Nice Noble Hierarch. That should be probably the game. Any reasonable hand with a Searing Blaze and a Goblin Guide on the play against a Noble Hierarch deck is usually pretty good. Fucking. So now they're at a healthy 13 life. We have 12 points of burn in our hand. And they took 2. Okay. So this probably leads us to a spot where we kill the Phantom. Yeah, we're just going to bolt the Phantom. Again, this is a spot where we're basically losing 1 damage off a burn spell to get in, to ensure that our Goblin guy gets through, and it takes us out of play. Slows them down considerably, opens up for future attacks. Just good in basically every way. I suppose we should have attacked first before we suspended, but it's fine. Yeah, so they have Noble Wanderer here. Yeah, this is great for us. So now our Goblin guy gets to attack in again, and now it's 4 damage. So and the creatures are very valuable. I think burn decks being called burn decks is almost like a misnomer because of how important the creatures are. Like, you can't just Lava Spike your opponent 7 times. It's just not how it works. Upstairs. So now we attack. I guess I don't have to block, but Drogskull Captain. Right, they are going to go to 4. We are going to Lava Spike them. And then if we Lightning Bolt them, it just kills the Wanderer. However, once they play Captain, Wanderer can counter stuff more effectively. I do want to just cast a spell here anyway, so I'm going to not give them the opportunity to cast Spell Queller or something like that. I'm just going to do it now. So we're basically bolting the Wanderer here, but that's fine. And we have Volley and Boros Charm in our hand. And also we have the board. So unless they want to chump block with Noble Hierarch, they have to do something with the Goblin Guide, and then we just kill them. Okay, so this looks like Spell Queller. It has to come down to block. We're in no rush, so we could draw 2. We attack. They flash and use Spell Queller to block. And they die. Yep. Everything that has transpired is done so according to my design. Yeah, the old Goblin Guides, Searing Blaze, your Noble Hierarch games are usually pretty easy to win. I feel pretty good. Spirits is definitely slower than humans, which is nice for us. Less disruption too, as far as like Freebooter or Meddling Mage go. Queller you can play around usually. Alright, pretty easy Lavamancer's here. I'm definitely want this Searing Blaze too. There's a question if you want Paths or Firecraft. I don't think so. Then we want to cut either Boros Charm or Atarka's Command. Given that we are on the draw, and I don't think they're going to have any life gain in their deck, I'm fine cutting Atarka's Command. We'd have to get through with more than one unblocked creature to make Atarka's Command better than Boros Charm. And Boros Charm is more nimble because we can cast it on the end step for 4 damage, whereas Atarka's Command needs to be cast in combat. So I'm pretty happy cutting those. Bring some Lavamancer, we lower our curve, and 4 Searing Blaze, 3 Lavamancer looks real nice. I think I'm also going to cut the Shard Volley for a Firecraft also. Shard Volley, if it gets countered, is really, really bad. So, again, more of a game 1 card. Definitely the weakest card in the deck. That hand's great. Eidolon's a little suspect on the draw. If they have a Vial or they like curve into company, like they can company of a turn after we cast Eidolon if they have a Noble Hierarch, which makes it a little bit worse. But we'll see how we play the hand out depending on what they do. Seachrome Coast is good, and nothing interesting. No Vial, no Noble. Okay. I am pretty interested in just attacking for 1 here. Cool. Works for me. Now we have more mana for our Eidolon and Lavamancer next turn, which is good. Interesting. So maybe a second path. Fortunately, we've drawn our other basic, but we'll cast Lavamancer, and we'll cast Eidolon, and we will pass the turn. Kind of a pain-free opening for them. They path the Lavamancer, though. The Eidolon's going to do significant amounts of damage, most likely, unless they have multiple companies available. Alright, they're doing it. Fortunately, like I said, we drew our basic, which kind of sucks. But we got an Eidolon and 11 points of burn in our hand. Could be worse. Whew. Nice. Don't play Geist in draft. Reflector Mage. Alright, that's not amazing for us, but not that bad. Monastery Swiftspear. So, again, a spot where I think we're fine bolting our opponent's creature. Actually, we're going to do everything here. This is actually pretty good for us. We get to do that, and this, and Boros Charm. Boros Charm, take 4. Nice little swing there. There are 9. We have the board. We have an Eidolon and 4 uncounterable damage in our hand. Not totally uncounterable. The Spellcaller can stop it. And they have Worship. The stupidest card ever printed. Okay. Well, let's draw. This Bolt killed him. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so let's just draw a Bolt. Please God, just draw a Bolt. Swiftspear. Does that do it? It's 2, 4. It's 8. Obviously, it's 8. Why wouldn't it be 8? God. Okay. That's so frustrating. Swiftspear. Yeah, shoot them for 4. Just can't be countered. Unreal. Some cards just should not have ever been printed, and this is one of them. So hopefully they only have one creature, and we get to kill it and kill them, because obviously we are dead otherwise. If they get more than one creature in play, it's going to be very, very hard to win. You believe these people. You believe them. Believe in the ideal, not the idol. I mean, they can make a 1/1. So they have, wow. They could have company, I guess. And it looks like they have company. I used to love playing Jund Burn with Bump in the Night. This Bump in the Night would just kill them through worship. It felt really good. Alright, so what's our best chance to win here? They have company, they got a whiff, basically, or we're dead. If they don't have company, they're going to make a token. They take 4. Alright, I think we just need to attack and just hope they don't have it, realistically. We can't kill every creature, so it's not like things are getting better for us. If they have company, I think our best chance to win is probably them bricking. However sad that is. Spell Queller? Okay. That's pretty annoying. Now they go to 3. And I guess we just kill it and just hope they don't have another creature. They can make one thing, we attack and we kill it and kill them. Alright. I mean, this kind of sucks. Firecraft, very awkward in this scenario, being a sorcery speed removal spell. If it was a bolt, I guess they weren't dead, but... Two cards in hand, and Spell Caller was their best option. One, that's really bad. Now they have 2 creatures. Okay, now we need to draw a removal spell. Searing Blaze. Lightning Bolt. I mean, fire away. Not sure how we're going to kill all of their creatures. Lavamancer will probably need to be involved. We do have 2 of them. So they have this Moorland Haunt now, and that certainly gives them the ability to keep playing and to put a creature in play every turn. It's one of the worst design Magic cards. Such a terrible design. To have a card that like some decks just can't beat. It's so like cheesy and hokey. Like I don't really see how this card ever like, you know, makes for fun gameplay. God. Moorland Haunt plus Worship. Basically Splinter Twin. Basically. Grim Lavamancer, where art thou? I'm gonna say everybody's time. Problem is now, like, to bring in Destructive Revelry, a card that does almost nothing against their entire deck. Because they have some number of vials too, but like bringing in a card that like, they probably have one Worship, you know, so it's like it's just such a lame-o proposition. I mean, we're on the play now. I'm just gonna leave it. Sorry. With our Lavamancers and Searing Blazes, and we're on the play, there's definitely a reasonable chance we can kill all their creatures if it comes to it. They probably only have one Worship. I would feel like we're more likely to lose drawing a blank card and just dying than them drawing their one Worship and maintaining creatures and not dying the turn they cast it, and so on and so forth. So we're back on the play. I think this is fine. I don't want to go overboard here. At most, they have two Worships. They probably only have one. And like in the scenario where we have a Revelry in our deck and they draw a Worship and they get a good board state going, it's also very likely they can just counter our Revelry anyway. So no Searing Blaze, no Lavamancer, but it's pretty hard to say no to Goblin Guide into Eidolon on the play, so we're going to keep. It's a little painful, but it gets the job done. We draw another 1-drop next turn. We may consider playing that over Eidolon at the Exile. It's actually fine, given how aggressively they use their paths in the previous game. Rainforest is also good, except they have to fetch Shock to cast Path, so let's see what we draw. Just the worst. Alright. I'm just going to attack. Try and get Eidolon down. Wanderer. So, in this case, Goblin Guide did enough damage. It's better than a Lava Spike, so. Would like to draw no more lands if possible. That would be very, very nice. Alright, gotta go to work. We have spirits too. We have spirit, yes we do. We have spirit, how about you? Yes, I worked in a summer camp for 3 summers. Okay. And this looks like assuredly another path, so they're effectively at 13. Oh my god. Any spell, like there's literally any spell of his turn. So I can double spell with Swiftspear. That is so unbelievably sick. Alright. So we light them up. They take 6 total, and they're at 7. And we unfortunately have 2 lands in our end. If these were lightning bolts or lava spikes, you'd be feeling really, really good right now. Unfortunately, they are not. So that kind of stinks. They're saying they have Spellqueller. Can't even attack. Take 2 spells to get through Spell Queller. Oh. They're coming into No Fear. It's very likely it's a collected company. Let's draw Searing Blaze. Better late than never, but never late is better. Company response and hit only a Noble Hierarch. It's probably our only chance to win, given that we have 8 lands. 2 of which are pathed, but oh my god. So they definitely have company in their hand because they didn't cast a Wanderer, and they had Queller. So if they only had Queller, they would have obviously played Wanderer and then Quellered. So that's really bad for us. Any way you slice it. Man, you get cheesed out by Worship and then draw like 9 lands. It's not cool. Not cool. I mean, their company has to actually whiff. So, it's not like this. Your goal is to play to your outs. And right now, our out is they play company and they whiff. So, I'm going to cast Riftbolt targeting them. I'm going to F6, and I'm going to move to its X if they don't cast company response, which they probably will. A 3rd Spellcaller? Alright, well. Now we are the one that is the dead. Very frustrating 2 games here, not gonna lie. Give him a little Jim D salt. I think that Worship was the only card that beat us in that game, and then this game has been pretty poopy. And they still have the company in their hand. No fun. No fun. Rough league. Rough league indeed. A damn Worship, you know? Alright, let's finish strong here. Still very happy with the deck. I mean, you know, that first match was obviously like black-white tokens, whatever. We beat Jeskai, it's a bad matchup. And then we lost Shadow, which is definitely a matchup that I think I just need to like know what I'm doing in. I believe it's about even. Again, play skill, making it 80-20 in either direction. And Band Spirits also seems fine. Got a little cheesed out there. This hand is really good. Typically, 1 land hands that burn are usually a trap. Because if you can't deploy multiple spells, if you're stuck just playing like 1 Lava Spike or 1 creature a turn, it's usually not fast enough. This hand's got literally all the potential in the world, though. We draw a land, you probably have a turn 3 kill. So we're also on a draw. On the play, I might ship this. On the draw, I'm definitely keeping. Okay. Arclight Phoenix, Flame Jab. Alright, well, this is what we're here for. This deck is very good against Arclight Phoenix decks. Wow, we are rocking and rolling. Don't. I say Flame Jab. It doesn't say don't gut shot me, but Tormenting Voice, discarding Swiftspear. And we are off to the races. Yeah, we're just slam jamming everything here. This is our old 6-ball. Their top card is Lightning Bolt. It's a card. It's a card. If they wait till our turn, try and bolt this Nacatl. Tormenting Voice, discarding Fiery Temper. Okay. So we know they have a bolt. Command's worth 5 damage. 6, 7, 8. Casting Eidolon is also pretty nice, honestly. I think I'm pretty down to just cast Eidolon. And attack for 3. Eidolon's quite good. They can bolt it, but then they're not bolting other stuff. They take 2 for the bolt. Top card Mountain, sure. Now they're at 11. Next turn we have Boros Charm and Atarka's Command. Sure, they take 2. I imagine Arclight's coming back this turn. It's not that bad. Swiftspear, sure. Looting. Just don't discard 2 more Arclights. Temper again. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Alright. I mean, we're just trying to kill him next turn. There's no reason to attack with the Goblin Guide here. It just doesn't make any sense. We just cast both of our spells and try to draw a burn spell and kill them. Simple as that. They have a lot of cards in their hand. You're bolting the Goblin Guide. Sure. Sure. Alright, we probably need to draw a burn spell. They discarded Maximize Velocity. Am I dead? Six, 10. Yeah, we're dead. Alright. Interesting. Rest in Peace is obviously very good against Bedlam Reveler. I mean, we're going to want Searing Blaze. It's probably just Blaze plus Lavamancer. I don't think I want Rest in Peace. And we're going to cut. Given their ability to kill our creatures, I think Atarka's Command is going to go. Because I made a mistake recording this video the night before the tournament, because whenever I try and practice or play on Thursday night before my Friday morning flight, I tend to do really, really badly every time. Should have realized that before going into this, you know? Like, I don't think we've been playing particularly badly, but Ugh. The fact that they also have all mountains as opposed to steam vents and shocklands and fetchlands and stuff basically lost us that game. They were playing blue-red, they would have died. They would have been at 7, not at 9, most likely. So that's kind of tough too. Obviously, the more common Arclight deck is the blue-red deck. This is the kind of hand I don't really like. No recurring damage sources, but it has a Searing Blaze, and Searing Blaze is almost a recurring damage source because it's just so good. It's just two bolts stapled together. I'm going to keep and not really be happy about it. Basically, just hope they play a 1-drop to make this Searing Blaze more tenable. Of course not. Oh, they do that. They're probably going to play Dragon's Claw on turn 2 also. Things are going to go as they've been going. Alright, I mean, I'm just going to Lava Spike and play a land as I go. There's no reason to Boros Charm yet. Just play a tap land, don't take any damage. I mean, if we had been 2 life higher that last game, we had a chance to win on top deck, so... Oh, nope. Shrine of Burning Rage. That is an interesting choice for this matchup. It's very strange. I mean, maybe they feel like we're bringing graveyard hate, so they just cut their graveyardy cards. But that's kind of a weird one. Alright, I'm just going to spike them and play lands as I go. So I have the ability to Searing Blaze something if I want to. Or Boros Charm. We have 7 points of burn in our hand, they're at 11, so like, you know. If it was unfamiliar, this is a card that gets a counter every turn, and a counter whenever you play a red spell, and you get to eventually sacrifice it and do much damage. This is a weird promo art version of the card. Usually a card boarded in against slower decks with graveyard hate. Discard 2 lands. Okay. Banned in Standard. Discard Risk Factor, Fiery Temper. Okay. I'm going to fetch a basic mountain, and I'm going to Boros Charm them. I think keeping our life total safe is very, very important, given their risk factor and Shrine of Burning Rage and all this stuff. Although, that did waste our fetch land for Searing Blaze. That may have been wrong. I could have held that land too. Ugh. Sloppy 2 turns there. I should have just said, just untapped. Yeah, now they have a Swiftspear. Yeah. So we would have got Searing Blaze in response here. And now we can't draw a land and a spell, but I could have drawn a spell to win the game. So I just threw this game away. If we draw any burn spell, I just chuck this one away. And we're 10 and we're dead to the shrine. So we just like can't win. I guess we can draw exactly Boros Charm and get bailed out. Okay, so it didn't end up mattering. We would have still died, but still got to make the right play. Shrine of Burning Rage killed us and got us 9 damage. I mean, all right. So clearly not a very successful league. I was 80% to play burn. Now I'm probably like 60%. Honestly, I've been playing it all day and doing very well. I am kind of sad with the results of this league. I mean, we did play against a lot of weird decks. Obviously, the black-white token deck was a joke. They just have brutality and timely reinforcements, and we still almost won. We beat Jeskai. We lost to Shadow, which is tough. That's definitely a matchup that needs experience on our side. And then we lost to Spirits because of Worship, and only Worship. And we just lost to this mono red deck, where we game 1. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we just lost, honestly. Honestly, this matchup also seems bad. The blue Arclight decks tend to spin their wheels and give us more time, and they also deal damage to themselves. This deck doesn't deal any damage to itself. So sort of like we're just playing a mirror, but they just have like insanely swingy cards like Swiftspear and Arclight Phoenix and Bedlam Reveler and Shrine of Burning Rage. And I just have more Lava Spikes. So they have more explosive potential than we do, and their bolts can answer my stuff. So this matchup also doesn't seem very good. So, I mean, I'm still happy with the deck. Still think it's good in the metagame. Still think it's good against most of the decks. However, modern sometimes you just get modern. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I mean, you play against a weird deck playing brutality and whatever. You die to a Worship, and there goes your league. So, still think a deck is good. Changes? I don't think I would change anything, honestly. I mean, you can't beat everything. We're not going to add any cards to our sideboard for the black-white tokens matchup. The deck is fast, it's consistent, it's powerful. I think the Nacatl is the best way to build the deck currently, given that Atarka's command helps you race. That's really it. So we will see if I end up playing this or Tron. I will be talking to Tan, and Tan's playing Tron. So, and I've played a lot of Tron also. So I'm definitely familiar with the deck and, willing to pick it up. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. So we'll find out. Obviously, this is the pre-weekend. We're going to find out post-weekend, all you folks in the future. So, fortunately, it didn't go as well as I would have liked, but that's Magic. And I think one of the things I like most about my content is that I tend to not sugarcoat stuff. I think that the leagues where you lose are just as important as the leagues when you win. And it makes me look better if I were to delete this video and just start over again and just keep playing leagues till I 4-1 and then post that video. It makes me look a lot better. Like, oh, look at Jim, he always wins, But I think that one of the things I strive in my content with is honesty and realism, basically. You won 4 leagues sometimes. There's been plenty of stories where player wins the Pro Tour with the deck, player plays, GP the next weekend with the deck and goes 0-3 drop. It definitely just happens sometimes, and just because you did poorly doesn't mean that your choices are wrong. Obviously, but you also want to look and see if your choices were wrong or not. But, it's not necessarily indicative. So I think that showing the leagues where I do poorly is also important, despite making me look bad. So what are you going to do? Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out CoolStuffInc.com, of course. My usual written articles on Friday. Videos are, of course, here on Monday. Make sure you hop on over and follow the Cool Stuff YouTube page. If you're not watching on that directly, make sure you subscribe to the Cool Stuff Inc. YouTube channel for direct notifications about the videos. Check out my stuff, too, of course, my streams, my videos. Check out my articles on Friday. And you can use my promo code JIM5 as well for all your orders on Cool Stuff for 5% off. And lastly, I just got my order in from Cool Stuff. I got a box of Ultimate Masters, which I'll be opening in a box opening stream/video next week. So for you this week, look for my Twitter. I got to figure out exactly what I'm going to do that scheduling wise, but Cool Stuff Inc. Check it out. All right, folks. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. And look for my article on Friday. Have a good one.